Hare Krishna. I Dandavat pranams to everybody. Hare Bol. Hare Bol. Today I'm operating this alone, so forgive any mistakes that I make in the techno aspect. Okay, we'll sing a kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava O Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, 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 Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, O Jaya Vishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, O Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. Gaur Premanandi, Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhavika Girihari, Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Brishabhanandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai, Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Sachinandana Gaurahari Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Shila Gauri Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Vedantaracharya Ki Jai. Jai Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamanand Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Shila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shivata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parasada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Goldrumdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritujip Janadvip Modumdvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwadasa Vartmaka Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai. Radha Kun Shama Kun Ganga Jamuna Devi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Brinda Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Devi Yogamaya Maharani Ki Jai, Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai, Shri Ketra Mandal ki jai, Sarva Vigna Vinasakari Shri Nashingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Chari Dham ki jai, Shri Chari Sampradaya ki jai, Chari Acharya ki jai, Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai, Shri Keshav Gaudiya Mat ki jai, Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Anantakoda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gauda Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Om Gina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Priya Sarupe Dayata Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuruna Vartino Kalos Madapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratu Dikatam Vasadipita Sada Hridare Kandare Sparatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Prabhajantam Anapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptashta Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Prinde Namaste Charana Ravindam Pajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanasti Katyana Kapi Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Rate Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And unto our most dear Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gauda Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. And unto all our Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitanam Pavnevyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So I hope the technicalities are in order. And the sound is okay, etc. Just checking my phone for any difficulties here. Okay. So we'll begin our study of the third chapter we're going in today. So we'll start with our Falshruti. Okay. Sound is very good. Okay. So our Falshruti, the last 4 verses. Jaiva-Dharma Pateshe Shura Bhakti Hoy Jaiva-Dharma na Padile Kabe Bhakti Noy. One who reads Jaiva-Dharma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva-Dharma can never attain Bhakti. My understanding is that faithful deliberation means reading very carefully, not glossing any of the text because I'm not able to understand it and just trying to get on to the next sentence, but carefully appreciating each single sentence as it comes along, as profoundly as I'm able to do so. This is faithful deliberation, careful deliberation. Rupa nuga abhiman pate drita hoy, Jaiva-Dharma vimukake dharma hinekoi. Faithfully reading Jaiva-Dharma will surely strengthen one's abhiman as a Rupa nuga, follower of Sri Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva-Dharma is certainly devoid of religious principles. If we don't connect with the teachings of Rupa Goswami, we are not connecting with the Yuga avatar. Krishna appears so many times in Satya Yuga, Yogeshwara, Parameshwara, um, uh, many Aishwarya manifestations come in Satya Yuga. And in Treta Yuga, Vamana Dev, and of course in Dwarpa Yuga, Sri Krishna comes at the end. But in this age, he comes as Sachinandana Gaura Hari. So if we're not um, inclined, or we're not going towards that place of understanding Mahaprabhu, if we're not going to understand the golden avatar, the Yuga avatar for this age, then what progress can we possibly make in spiritual life? Krishna is so kind. He is so generous. This is the most fallen age of Kali. And yet he's come himself with the most sublime method of attaining the highest goal conceivable, that of Manjari Bhav. This is what he's giving, Swabhakti Shriyam. He's tasting himself, this Unnata Ujjvala Prem, that prem that Radha feels for Krishna. That's what he wants to taste himself. And at the same time, he's tasting himself, because it's the beauty of himself that Radhika is attracted to. So both understandings are there. But all of this has been captured. This verse, Anapita Chirim Chirat, we say every day. This verse is written by Rupa Goswami. It's the third verse that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj he quotes in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is offering all respect and homage to Rupa Goswami. So if we're not absorbed or inclined towards Rupa Goswami, then where can we possibly, or what can we possibly achieve spiritually? It's not possible. We'll end up going towards this nirvishesh brahm that we've talked about all the time, or this moksha, this mukti, liberation. But if we carefully embrace the teachings and sweetness of Rupa Goswami, his poetry, just on a material platform, is so exquisite and so sublime. And the descriptions of Radha and Krishna's love have never been spoken in a way that he's able to write them, because of his deepest attachment and attraction to Sri Radhika. So he describes this conjugal ras, and this is our objective, to absorb our minds in this. So when we leave this body, some impression will be there if we've heard these teachings, even to some degree. All support will come from our Guru Vargya at the time of leaving our bodies. And our spirit soul is perhaps, or our minds perhaps, will be bewildered. But by just the fact of leaving, unless we're very focused and have become sober in our practices. So the teachings of Rupa Goswami are absolutely paramount in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, this Lalita Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav. These granthas that he's bestowed upon us contain the highest essence of wealth that the jiva can possibly attain in this life. So Rupa Goswami is our total master. And if we're not following this Rupanuga, we are Raga Anugas, following the path of Rag, and following the Rag Atmikas. The Rag Atmikas are all self-realized personalities. Their Atma is soaked in Rag. We are following them, so we are Raganugas. And we are following the teachings of Rupa Goswami. So we are Rupanuga, Raganuga. And I've said many times that not all Raganugas are Rupanugas. And the example that my Gurudev gives constantly is Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. They are realized spirit personalities, Lalita and Vishaka. So they are not following the guidance of Rupa Goswami was younger than they were. So there's a distinction here. They are Raganugas, but all are following the Ragatmikas in their sadhan bhajan, in their practices. Yava jivane jay pade Jaiva-Dharma bhaktiman se janavrita jnana karma. One who faithfully reads Jaiva-Dharma throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti and will surely realize the futility of jnana and karma. Krishna Ramala Seva Labi Senara Seva Sukhe Magnaraha Sada Krishna Para. Such a man, being fully devoted to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Kishore and having attained their Amal Prem Seva, remains forever merged in the bliss of such immaculate loving service. Yes, when we attain this state of sampati, we can say, this highest stage, sampati dasha, in our Vastu city, that is an eternal place. So this Amal Prem Seva will be there eternally. Even in this birth, once we catch a fragrance of the sweetness and beauty and speciality of the affection and love, the transcendental relationship between Radha and Krishna, that will never leave us once we've actually really tasted that to even a small degree. So now we come to chapter 3. Nimitic Dham is to be relinquished. One night, just after 10 o'clock, Sasi Maharaj sat chanting Harinam on the raised mound in a secluded part of his grove within Sri Godrum. Gazing northward, he saw the full moon had already risen, diffusing an uncommon luster throughout Sri Navadvip Mandal. Suddenly, a divine manifestation of nearby Sri Mayapur became visible before his eyes. Sasi Maharaj exclaimed, "Oh, what an extraordinary vision! I am seeing a most astonishing and blissful holy place. Towering jeweled palaces, temples, and ornamented archways are illuminating the banks of the Jahnavi River by their glittering splendor. The tumultuous sound of Harinam Sankirtan is rising from many places, as if to pierce the sky. Hundreds of Vaishnavas, like Narad playing upon his veena, are chanting Sri Nam and dancing." I was sharing with the devotees last year during our Gora Parikrama how when sometimes here in Navadvip, especially during Gora Panim time when there are so many Parikrama parties around, and sometimes all of the um, sounds come together, especially at the Sandhya time, at the Gora Arti time. Sometimes maybe 7 or 8 different temples will all be chanting the Gora Arti simultaneously, and the sound vibration is really dramatic, and it makes us feel that it's almost piercing the sky with the sweetness and beauty and power of this holy name, this Harinam Sankirtan. So we can physically experience this sound vibration here in Goradam at times like this. And this gives great faith to the practicing sadhak that he can connect with Mahaprabhu, who is always so powerfully present here in the atmosphere of Navadvip Dham. And devotees should visit here regularly. Even if they can't stay here, they should visit regularly and taste and experience the mercy directly of Mahaprabhu in Gordam. So Sannyasi Thakur, he's having a transcendental vision of this, a spurti of this, and he's seeing the beautiful temples and hearing the Vaishnavas dancing and singing, etc. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as we all know, is a most mystical personality himself. He's revealed in many of his writings these mystical visions to give encouragement to the devotees that yes, these visions are um, accessible, and sometimes this type of mercy can be bestowed by Krishna directly, that we'll see something and we will have a feeling that this is, yes, from another realm, from the transcendental realm. And this will increase our faith in the uppercut realm, in the transcendental realm, therefore diminish our putting so much emphasis and importance on this material world, and we'll more easily become liberated from this material condition, which is exactly what's going to happen to Sannyasi Thakur. By having this revelation, he's going to become liberated from, first of all, his dress as a sannyasi and his whole consciousness of being a Brahmagyani devout follower. On one side is fair complexioned Mahadev with his Damaru drum in his hand. He cries out, "O Vishvambar, please bestow your mercy upon me." Saying this, he dances Tandava Nritya wildly, then falls to the ground unconscious. On another side, the four-headed Brahma sits in an assembly of rishis who are well versed in Vedic lore. He recites the following Vedic mantra and lucidly explains its meaning. Mahan Prabhu Svava Mahaprabhu Vaipumsa Sarva Sattva Yaisva Pravartaka Shunimaralam Imam Praptim Ishano Joiti Avyaya. Sweta Upanishad 3:12. That personality is undoubtedly Mahan, supreme, and he is Prabhu, master. He bestows the tendency for intelligence, and by his mercy, a person can attain supremely pure and transcendental peace. That person, known as Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya, is Purush, the supreme person. He is Ishan, the supreme ruler. He is Jyoti Swarup, the self-manifest and possessing a lustrous effulgence. Due to the golden splendor of his limbs, he is Avyaya, the imperishable Lord. So Lord Brahma, he's discussing the beauties of Mahaprabhu in reference to the Vedic Shastra, to the Vedic descriptions of Mahaprabhu, and how much can we spend our time and life discussing the beauty and speciality of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu's glories are endless. Elsewhere, Indra and other devas are leaping in ecstasy, crying, Jai Prabhu, Gaurachandra, Jai Nityananda. The birds sitting on the branches of the trees are calling out, Gaura, Nitai. Large black bees are humming everywhere in the flower gardens, intoxicated by drinking Gaura Nam Ras, the liquid essence of the holy name of Gaura. Prakriti Devi, the goddess of nature, is maddened with Gaura Ras and diffusing her magnificent radiance everywhere. This is one. Excuse me. This is wonderful. I have seen Sri Mayapur in broad daylight many times, but I've never beheld anything like this before. What am I seeing? How astonishing. Sannyasi Thakur is really developing so quickly his Krishna consciousness. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's crafting this text to reveal that the process can work so quickly if we take it really seriously, if we become detached from this material world and take the precepts very seriously. Remembering his Gurudev, Sasi Maharaj said, O Prabhu, now I can understand that you have bestowed your mercy upon me today by granting me a vision of the transcendental, aprakrit aspect of Mayapur. From today onwards, I shall call myself a follower of Sri Gaurachandra. I see that everyone in this divine land of Navadvip wears a necklace of tulsi beads, tilak on his forehead, and the letters of Sri Nam stamped on his body. I shall also do the same. So this is a whole transition Bhaktivinoda Thakur is sharing with us. Saying this is the effect that the philosophy, that transcendental knowledge can have on our very being, that a whole transition will take place in our lives completely, and we'll just embrace this process fully, 100%, leaving behind our previous years of material involvement. Just in a moment, this can happen when a vision is bestowed of this nature. Saying this, Sasi Maharaj fell into a state of unconsciousness. He regained external consciousness after a short while and began to cry. Indeed, I am extremely fortunate, for by the mercy of my Guru, I have obtained a momentary vision of the sacred land of Navadvip. He immediately gives credence to his Guru. This is why this can happen to Sannyasi Thakur, because he has got his Guru as most prominent. He understands this aspect. Straight away, he was understanding this aspect, that Guru is the principle, because our habit previously to coming to Guru was to do everything independently, how we wanted to do it. But coming under guidance of Guru, what is it we have to offer to Guru? Ultimately, we have to offer our independent spirit to Guru. That's what we have to offer to Guru, to let Guru dictate and direct our wanderings in this material world. Guru will direct us because Guru has the same desire that Krishna has for us. Sakshat Davitre Nasamasta Shastra. We said this yesterday. Guru and Krishna are like one. They both desire the welfare of the conditioned soul. So if the Shishya is able to fully submit to Guru's guidance, this is the same as fully submitting to Krishna's guidance. Then only pure success and auspiciousness can come in the Shishya's life. Completely that can come, because then he's connecting fully with transcendence. If the Guru is transcendental, then he is connecting fully with transcendence. If the Guru is not transcendental, still great benefit will be there for the sadhak's mood. But if that Guru is not transcendental, then that will be revealed in time, and the Shishya will have no loss in his surrender to that fallen Guru, and he will just again beg for the mercy of Krishna to provide him with another Guru who can guide him. But for the Shishya, there's no fault, there's no problem. Nothing has been lost, because the sentiment of that surrender, that submissiveness by the Shishya to Guru, is what is going to count with the Supreme Lord. The next morning, he threw his Ekadanda staff into the river. Then, decorating his neck with a threefold stranded necklace of tulsi beads and his forehead with the Urdav Pundra Tilak mark, he chanted Hari Hari and began to dance. Many times devotees inquire, what is this Urdav Pundra Tilak? It's just the same tilak that we wear, that is given its full title here. That's all. You can look these words up in the glossary at the back. When the Vaishnavas of Godharam saw Sanyasi Maharaj's extraordinary mood and new appearance, they offered him prostrated obeisances, saying, You are blessed, you are blessed. He became somewhat embarrassed at this and said, Oh, I have accepted this Vaishnava dress to become an object of the Vaishnava's mercy. But now I have met with another obstacle. I have heard the following statement many times from Gurudev's mouth. Trinadapi sunichena, tarodapi suhishana, amanina manadena, kirtanya sadahari. This is from Shikshastikam 3. Considering oneself to be more insignificant than a blade of grass, being more tolerant than a tree, and free from all desire for personal prestige, and offering all respect to others, one should constantly be absorbed in Harinam. So now Vaishnava Sannyasi Thakur has to really demonstrate the true quality of a Vaishnava, Vaishnava Atar. This is the word for describing the um, quality, Vaishnava Atar, of a Vaishnava. He must embrace this verse deeply. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, he says we should actually have this carved in a locket around our necks and carry it and constantly be remembering this verse in this world. And then we will be connected with that supreme potency, that supreme transcendental Lord. The symptom of the conditioned soul is pride. The conditioned soul is proud of everything. He's proud of his bank balance. He's proud of his family. He's proud of his car. He's proud of his shoes. He's proud of his hair. He's proud of everything. This is the nature of conditioned consciousness. Whereas the devotee is humble about everything that he knows he's not the owner of anything. He's utilizing any assets that have come to him in Krishna's name. And he's looking for this place of humility constantly. So there's such a marked distinction between the materialist and the Vaishnava. And this is the fundamental point of distinction. The very same Vaishnavas whom I consider to be my gurus are now offering obeisances to me. What will become of me? Pondering thus, he approached Paramahamsa Babaji, offered him prostrated obeisances, and stood up with his head bowed. Babaji Mahashai was seated in the Madhavi Arbor, chanting Hari Nam. When he saw Sanyasi Maharaj's complete change of dress and his awakening of bhav for Sri Nam, he embraced him and bathed him with tears of love, saying, O Vaishnava Das, today I have become successful by touching your auspicious body. So what a beautiful description of initiation. We can say like Harinam initiation. He's just been given the name Vaishnava Das. What an extraordinary picture that Bhaktivinoda is painting for us to appreciate. This should be the condition when we come to devotional service. With that statement, Sanyasi Maharaj's previous name was forsaken. He received a new life from that day, was now known as Vaishnava Das. Thus he abandoned his Mayavad sannyas dress, his prestigious sannyas name, and the exalted conception he had of himself. Very important, very profound. This is a beautiful description that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us today. That afternoon, many Vaishnavas came to Sri Pradumna Kunj from Sri Godram and Sri Madhyadweep to see Paramahamsa Babaji. They all sat surrounding him. Madhyadweep is right next to Godram Dweep. Godram Dweep is this island, and there's no river between Godram Dweep and Madhyadweep. There's Simanta Dweep in the north east of Godram, and then there's Godram, and then there's Madhyadweep. Then we cross over the Ganga, and then we come to Kola Dweep, and then Ritu Dweep, and then Janu Dweep, and then Modran Dweep, and Rudra Dweep. They are all together on the other side of the Ganga. But on this side of the Ganga, there's Mayapur, but Mayapur is on the other side of the Jalangi, or the Saraswati River. But in this particular island of Godram, right next to it is Madhyadweep. And just a little bit to the east is Simantadweep. So these three islands are around here without rivers to cross to reach them. So the devotees from Madhyadweep, which is just 2 or 3 miles from here, very close by, they came. It's very interesting to see, because at this time, of course, there were no institutions like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati inaugurated. There was just groups of Vaishnavas living together out of affection for each other and out of a sincere desire to practice the precepts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were living somewhat communally, but there was no institutional community. They would live in rented places or just places that they had been given by various
well wishers and so on. And it's described how the local populace would bring them fruits and grains, whatever they needed if they were cooking, or they would provide them with the food they would beg from Madhukari. So it was a very, very simple arrangement and setup. And the focus was entirely on their Hari Nam Bhajan, on their chanting, on their kirtan, etc. This was the focus of these different groups. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes it in different places, how different groups of devotees would come. Sometimes he talks about the devotees coming from Nrsimhapali, sometimes coming from Koladweep or Kulinya Gram, and different places would come. So it's just an interesting picture we have of the devotional environment at this time. This was about 400 years ago. But today we've been evolved into different mats or sects. And for some, there are many pluses about it, and also there's dangers in it as well. So we just have to navigate through this particular um, environment we have of the devotee arrangements. They all sat surrounding him, surrounding Paramahamsa Babaji, chanting Harinam with Tulsi Mala in their hands. They called out, Ha Garanga, Nityananda, Ha Sitanath, Ha Sachinandan, and their eyes welled with tears. The Vaishnavas discussed among themselves topics related to the confidential service of their Ishtadev, their worshipable deity, and then after circumambulating Tulsi Devi, they offered obeisances. At that time, Vaishnava Das also circumambulated Sri Vrindadevi and rolled in the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Everything actually centers on Vrindadevi. Vrindadevi arranges all the meetings between Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Radha and Krishna never ever meet without the arrangement of Vrindadevi. Vrindadevi is the principal personality arranging everything. Even when we chant on our Tulsi Mala, this is an aspect or a part of Vrindadevi also. So we are connecting with the Supreme. So Vrindadevi is paramount in our worship. So it's interesting how it's brought out that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning everyone was circumambulating Vrindadevi. Very, very important. Vrindadevi is the younger expansion of Yogamaya. Yogamaya is one tattva, but for pastime, she's two personalities. Purnamasi is the elder ascetic mahant of the village, and she will interact with all the villages, etc. Whereas Vrindadevi just stays in the forest like a Devi, like a goddess, and she doesn't interact with all of the other people of the village, with the gopis and the some of the sakas, the Priyanam sakas, but not everybody. So Vrinda Devi is a very selective, special person. So always we are thinking of our prayers towards getting the mercy of Vrinda Devi. Some of the Vaishnavas whispered to one another, "Isn't that Sasi Maharaj? What an extraordinary appearance he has today." Rolling on the ground before the Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Das said, "Today my life has become successful, for I have obtained the dust of the Vaishnavas' lotus feet. By Gurudev's mercy, I have clearly understood that the jiva has no destination unless he has the dust of the Vaishnavas' feet. The dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, the water that washes their feet, and the nectar emanating from their lips. These three items are the medicine and the way of life for the patient who is afflicted with the disease of material existence." Very such important points. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, without the mercy of the Vaishnavas, nothing can proceed. Therefore, how important is it for us to respect the Vaishnavas and not criticize, which has become the habit greatly amongst the Vaishnavas sometimes. This criticism takes place, but this criticism has to be eradicated. It will not attract the mercy of Krishna in any way. It will send Krishna away. We must be very, very, very cautious about this. They are the cure for the entire material disease, and they are also the source of transcendental enjoyment for the healthy soul who has become free from this affliction. So, in both cases, they will cure the disease and they will enhance the bliss of the practicing sadhak. So, Vaishnava association and Sangha is absolutely vital for the sadhak desiring progress on this path. It doesn't mean that we need hundreds of Vaishnavas association. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj has very beautifully said that to practice pure bhajan, you only need 3 or 4 Vaishnavas of a similar mood, in fact, to progress forward. If any other Vaishnavas are there and we can take their Sangha, that is wonderful. But we shouldn't be lamenting all the time, oh, there's no big Vaishnava Sangha here. If there's even 1 or 2, Swajatya, Snigdha, Ashraya, these 3 aspects we should look for. Swajatya, they have the same mood. They want the same essence that Mahaprabhu has come to give, for example. We want to go into the path of Raganuga Bhakti. If that is our desire, we need other souls who also have that inclination and that desire. Swajatya, same jat. Swa means own. Swajatya. Snigdha means affectionate. They have affectionate for us. We have affectionate for them. And then Ashraya, we have the feeling that they are more senior to us. This is very important. We always want to hold each other with due respect. This is so much necessary. So if we have this kind of Sangha, even with 2 or 3 or 4 devotees, that's sufficient to keep our practice on the boil, so to speak, to keep ourselves regularly inspired. We don't need a whole social circle. That can become very, very distracting, in fact. But if we have a few selective um, souls who we know are encouraging our bhajan, that is sufficient to go forward in our internal practice of bhajan, pure bhajan. Now, Sannyasi Thakur, Vaishnava Das now is going to speak. Oh, Vaishnavas, please do not think that I am trying to show off my scholarship. My heart has now become free from all such egoism. I took birth in a high Brahmin family, studied all the Shastras, and entered the sannyas ashram, which is the 4th stage of the social order. As a result, my pride knew no bounds. He's enunciated everything. Very open-hearted, his plea to the Vaishnavas is. But when I became attracted to the Vaishnava principles, a seed of humility was sown in my heart. Gradually, through the mercy of all of you Vaishnavas, I've been able to cast off the vanity of my noble birth, the pride of my learning, and the arrogance of my social status. So appreciate all these points, just to drop our material social reputation when we come in front of the devotees. I can remember personally when I first came and first met a devotee, and he began to speak to me. I was very proud of the various basically traveling I'd done in the world prior to coming to the company of devotees. And I started to show off to this Vaishnava who was preaching to me. And he just said a very simple expression. He said, "Oh, I did all that in my last life." That was all he said. And it cut me off totally. And I was able to be silent for the next 4 or 5 hours and just listen to what he had to say. So this is the process to silence our desire to our arrogance or our pride, our vanity in our previous apparent accomplishments, and just listen to the katha of the Vaishnavas. Now I know that I am a destitute and insignificant jiva. I was being ruined by my false ego of being a brahmana, by my learning, and by my status as a sannyasi. I submit all this before your lotus feet with full simplicity. You may deal with this servant of yours however you deem fit. When the Vaishnavas heard Vaishnava Das's humble words, many of them said, O best of the Bhagavats, we are eager to obtain the dust of the feet of Vaishnavas like you. Please bless us with the dust of your lotus feet. You are the object of Paramahamsa Babaji's mercy. Please purify us by making us your associates. The Shastras say that bhakti is obtained through associating with bhaktas like yourself. Bhaktis tu bhagavat bhakta sangena parijayate satsanga prapyate pumbya sukritir purva sanchitaha. Brihan Naradiya Purana 433. Bhakti is awakened when one associates with bhaktas of Sri Bhagavan. Association with Shuddha bhaktas is attained only by the accumulation of transcendental pious activities performed over many lifetimes. This will be our great fortune, that whatever activities we perform in devotion is going to be accumulated and will remain with us in our next birth. This is why we can never think that a younger devotee is not necessarily advanced. A younger devotee may be carrying so much sukriti from a previous birth. All devotees should be internally respected and honored, but certainly those devotees who have been practicing the path materially in this life for some time should be given more respect than the apparent junior devotees. My Gurudev was always very clear about this etiquette of respect. By respect, it engenders potency. Respect is an aspect of love. We are trying to melt the heart in affection towards Krishna. All of these qualities really support that. Bhakti is awakened when one associates with bhaktas of Sri Bhagavan. Associating with Shuddha bhaktas is attained only by the accumulation of transcendental pious activities performed over many lifetimes. We had accumulated a sufficient stock of pious activities which foster bhakti, bhakti proshaka sukriti, and that is how we have obtained your association. Now, by the strength of that association, we aspire for Hari Bhakti. When the Vaishnavas had concluded their exchanges of mutual respect and humility, this is the point that I'm perceiving in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's words. This point of mutual respect and humility are absolutely like our platform to move forward. We have to cultivate this because many of us are coming from very poor respect or lacking in respect places. We're coming from poverty-stricken, proud homes, many of us. And how will we melt our hearts in this direction if we carry those negative traits from that previous lifestyle? They have to be purified. When the Vaishnavas had concluded their exchanges of mutual respect and humility, Vaishnavadas sat down on one side of the assembly, thereby enhancing its dignity. Harinam Mala looked brilliant in his hands. Interesting that Bhaktivinoda Thakur should comment on that. When you chant on your mala sufficiently, then it takes on almost a physical glow. And they were aware that Vaishnava Das was taking his Harinam Mala practice very seriously. That day, a fortunate gentleman was sitting with the Vaishnavas. He had taken birth in an aristocratic Brahmin family, and he was also a zamindar, a wealthy landlord. He had studied Arabic and Farsi from childhood and had developed a significant reputation in the country, for he had courted many of the Islamic royalty and was also expert in group dynamics and political strategy. Although he had enjoyed his position and opulence for many years, It had brought him no happiness. At last, he had taken up the practice of Harinam Sankirtan. So now we're being introduced to another personality who we're going to sit with for the next few chapters. This is Lahari Mahashai, and this is something about his character that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is building here. It's the antithesis of what Vaishnava Das has just been through. So see the links between these personalities. First there's Prem Das Babaji, and then we have Sannyasi Thakur becomes purified. Now we're going to see that Sannyasi Thakur as Vaishnava Das, and he's going to be called Vaishnava Das Babaji, he will influence this person, Lahari Mahashai, and Lahari Mahashai is going to influence his son, Shambhu, and Devadrita, I think his name is, Devadatta. He's going to influence him later on in the later chapters. So it's a continuing line. This current is coming through the various Vaishnavas. In his childhood, the gentleman had been trained in Indian classical music by some of the most prestigious music masters of Delhi. Because of that training, he had become strong enough to put himself forward as the lead singer during the performances of Harinam Sankirtan. The Vaishnavas did not like his polished classical style of singing, for he would show off some of his musical artistry during Sankirtan and then look expectantly at others' faces for recognition. He continued to lead kirtans for many days, and gradually he began to experience some pleasure in Sankirtan. After some time, he came to Sri Godram in order to join the kirtan programs of the Navadvip Vaishnavas, and he took up residence in the ashram of a Vaishnava there. On this particular day, accompanied by that Vaishnava, he had come to Pradumna Kunj and was sitting in that Malati Madhavi grove. When he saw the Vaishnavas' humble behavior towards each other and heard Vaishnava Das's words, many doubts arose in his mind. Being a skillful orator, he audaciously raised the following inquiry before the assembly of Vaishnavas. The Manusmriti and other Dharma Shastras state that the Brahmin caste is the highest caste. According to these Shastras, religious rites such as Sandhya Vandanam, the chanting of the Vedic mantras such as Brahma Gayatri at dawn, noon, and sunset, are considered to be Nitya Karma, eternal duties for the Brahmanas. If these activities are obligatory, why is Vaishnava behavior opposed to them? So this is the question that is going to take up the rest of the chapter. So try to appreciate this question. Many smarta Brahmins today, they consider this to be the truth, that because I am born a Brahmana, because I practice the Gayatri mantras 3 times a day, etc., that I am considering myself more worthy of respect. But Lahari Mahashai had just seen the behavior of the Vaishnavas, so his pride had already been punctured to some degree. So now it's described as audaciously, because the Vaishnavas only want to talk about Krishna, but he's asking this question like a challenge way. It's like a challenging question. Why do the Vaishnavas only, are they disrespecting the Brahmin caste? So this question is very prevalent, especially in Bharatvarsh, especially in India. The Brahmins believe that they have their superior birth, they expect respect. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has to purify this misconception. The Vaishnavas have no taste for mundane argument and debate. If the question had been put by an argumentative Brahmana, they would not have replied for fear of becoming embroiled in a battle of words. However, since they saw that the present questioner regularly sang Harinam, they all said, "We will be most happy if Paramahamsa Babaji Mahashai answers your question. On hearing the order of the Vaishnavas, Paramahamsa Babaji Mahashai offered obeisances and said, O great souls, if you so desire, the respected Bhakta Sri Vaishnava Das will answer this question in full. All the Vaishnavas consented to this proposal. So I think we'll stop there today and continue with the exceptional answer that Vaishnava Das is going to give to this question. But try to understand the question very clearly. I'm just going to repeat the question one more time for us to consider in the next, because we won't be meeting tomorrow. We'll meet again on Monday. So the question, the Manusmriti and other Dharma Shastras state that the Brahmin caste is the highest caste. So this is Shastra is saying specifically the Brahmin caste is the highest. Lahari Mahashai is a Brahmana. He wants to maintain his status. He doesn't want to give up his material status. According to these Shastras, religious rites such as Sandhya Vandana, the chanting of the Vedic mantras such as Brahma Gayatri at dawn, noon, and sunset, are considered to be Nitya Karma, eternal duties for the Brahmanas. In other words, the Brahmanas, they have this wealth, this treasure that they can practice, which is not what the general mass of people have. If these activities are obligatory, why is Vaishnava behavior opposed to them? So he's considering that because Sannyasi Thakur has just said that he's left all his prestigious mood of learning, etc., his pride in my learning, cast off my vanity of my noble birth. Lahari Mahashai was pricked at this. He's cast off the idea that he was a Brahmin by birth. He's not carrying that anymore. Understand all of these aspects of our apparent material reputation have to be purified down to the very core. So Mahashai, Lahari Mahashai, is giving the question where these can be, this aspect of reputation can be purified. For the devotee living in the Western world, we don't have to face this problem. Nevertheless, we have other difficulties with our pride that we have to face. So this is very, very educational. So on Monday, we'll churn over the answer to this beautiful question. Jaiva-Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Gaura Premanandi, Jaiva-Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Haribol, Haribol. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhaveva cha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnave Vyo Namaha.